something is seriously wrong with Kyle Busch, and now one of his biggest rivals is saying the quiet part out loud. We're not talking about a slump, we're talking about the possible end of an era. Here's the reality right now. It's been over 3 years and 100 races since Kyle Busch last won in the Cup Series. His last victory came back in June 2023. Since then, inconsistent speed, struggles adapting to the next-gen car, and most concerning, he's not clearly outperforming his own teammate Austin Dillon. Meanwhile, Dillon has picked up wins recently, and Busch still searching. Even Denny Hamlin, a guy who's raced against him for years, is now questioning everything. This didn't come out of nowhere. Busch's decline didn't start at Childress Racing. According to Hamlin, the warning signs go back to his final years at Gibbs Racing. That's 5 years of inconsistency for a driver who's supposed to be a generational talent, a two-time champion, a future Hall of Famer. And here's why this matters. NASCAR's Next Gen era has changed the game. There's more parity now. Cars are closer than ever, which means the driver has to make the difference. And right now, Busch isn't making enough of one. In the garage, that raises questions. In the locker room, that shifts expectations. And for the season, it changes how teams view him, not as a weekly threat, but as a wild card. Let's break this down at a high level. Hamlin's main point is simple but direct. Kyle Busch can't consistently extract speed from the next-gen car. That's not a small issue. That's everything. Because in today's NASCAR, you're not dominating on raw horsepower anymore. You're winning on precision, adaptability, and feel. And here's where it gets really interesting. Hamlin suggests Busch might actually be overdriving the process. Instead of just giving feedback, Busch is reportedly trying to dictate setup changes. In other words, he's acting like a hybrid of driver, engineer, and crew chief. Now, that might sound like leadership, but at this level, it can backfire because modern teams rely on data-first decisions. If a driver overrides that, you risk chasing the wrong adjustments every single weekend. Strategically, that creates a loop. Bad setup, poor performance, twaif, overcorrection, worse results. And the concerning part, that loop has been happening for years. Hamlin even compared this to Jimmy Johnson's sudden drop-off after 2017, a moment where a legend just stopped being as competitive. That's the question now. Did Busch hit that same invisible wall? Because if he did, this isn't temporary. This is structural. Fans are split right down the middle. One side says, this is Kyle Busch, he'll figure it out. The other side, they're starting to accept something they never thought they'd say, that Busch might not be elite anymore. Media voices are getting more direct too, less slump talk, more long-term decline conversations. And emotionally, it's tough to watch. Because Busch isn't just talented, he's one of the most polarizing electric personalities the sport has ever had. Seeing him mid-pack doesn't feel normal. Busch simplifies everything, stops overthinking setups, leans on his team, finds a rhythm with the next-gen car. And suddenly, he's back in contention, maybe not dominant, but dangerous again. Nothing changes. The gap between him and top drivers grows. Contract options shrink, maybe limited to mid-tier teams like SPORTSWIRE Motorsports. And just like that, a legendary career fades out. Not with a bang, but with quiet struggles. So here's the real question. Is this just a rough chapter for Kyle Busch, or are we witnessing the end of a NASCAR legend in real time? Drop your take below. And if you want real, unfiltered sports analysis like this, hit subscribe and stay locked into SPORTSWIRE USA.